Welcome to Bet On It Monday Night Football Edition. I am Kelly Stewart. Let's bring in Marco and VR at Marco in Vegas and at Greek Gambler if you guys are not following them on Twitter. But of course you are. Marco, it is $9 Monday over at WagerTalk. If you couldn't tell, I got a little sunburnt this weekend. So tell me how your weekend went and what you have for sale over at WagerTalk.com.
Well, how much time do you have, Kelly? Because you know what? My buddy VR's got it. He's got it down. Don't watch these damn games. Because I'll tell you, yesterday, the 3 games that I had for my clients that ended up being a push or losses, they just kept getting more bizarre. Start with Cincinnati. We get a push. Okay, great. We had to have a missed extra point and a 2-point conversion made, and then 5 missed field goals just to, get us to the point where we got to that push where finally Green Bay wins the game by a field goal. That's okay, fine. That was a coin flip. Then let's go to the 49ers. Did you watch that game? 4th and goal. How does he not cross the plane with the ball? All he has to do is reach it out. It's a touchdown. No cover there. Phantom no safety in the end zone when Kyler Murray throws the ball inside the tackle box out of the end zone to avoid a sack. No safety. Either one of those gives us a cover. But my all-time favorite was the Cleveland Browns yesterday. They never were trailing to the spread until they literally picked up and carried the LA Charger into the end zone for the touchdown, which I get it. It was the only way they had a chance to win. They had to get the ball back because it was a gimme field goal. Or would it have been? Did they see how many extra points were missed yesterday in field goals? It was a fun day, Kelly. How was your day?
Well, it ended well. I was at the Bucs game and got to end it with a nice, easy, no sweat winner with the Bills because, Marco, I was on every single one of those games with you. Luckily enough, I didn't have to watch very many of them because I was already at another game. The Vikings almost gave me a survivor heart attack and a teaser heart attack. VR, your best bet cash on the Saints. I had the Washington football team in a teaser, even though you told me maybe not the smartest move. Congratulations on cashing your best bet. How was your weekend?
Yeah, first, it's Monday, so let's get to the don't be that guy. Where I say the bet's not to make, I look in the back end, and here's what one gentleman did last night for Sunday Night Football. He bet game 477. That's Buffalo, Kansas City. He bought 2 points, minus 150 to go over 54.5. So his total was 56.5. Let's remember, it closed 57, some places 57.5. But this gentleman or lady bought 2 points and laid 150 for that privilege. So here's, when you take a step back, here's the math of that bet. 56.5, if he laid minus 110, he's saying that it would have to go over 52.5% of the time to break even. So for it to be a winning bet, it would have to go over 56.5, 53% of the time for that to be a winning bet. He didn't think that was the case, but if he laid 150 and brought it down to 54.5, he thought it was a good bet. Now, though, at minus 150, that bet has to cash 60% just to break even. So now he's saying there's not a 53% chance this will go over 56.5, but there's a 61% chance this goes over 54.5. In what reality does that even make sense? Now, with all that said, he cashed that ticket, he or she. So come next Sunday night, guess what? They're going to place that same bet, and they're going to continue to do it over and over again. And it's a mathematical certainty they will lose money placing that wager. They will not win long term. And speaking about my weekend, again, I've been consistent, Kelly. I tell you when I win and I tell you when I lose. I know that I won on the show for NFL, but I lost. In fact, I'm down for this NFL season. I went back and looked over my last 100 NFL bets. Since the beginning of August, I've given out 109 bets. I'm 51 and 58. So I'm 7 positions under 500 plus big. That's probably 10 plus positions under 500. I'm down. I admit it. But over the last 400 plus bets, going back over a year, I'm over 60%. Very profitable. So for me, a short term has not been great. Long term, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So as a bettor, you need to decide what your goal is. And like any investment, change your time horizon and change your life. If you remember, I talked about buying that one stock just a little while back, MicroStrategy, because I don't know the game, but I have a decent network. A guy that is an investor, make a long story short, I do sports, he does that, share some wisdom. I know he's a long-term winner, so I backed it at 580, like he said. Now, it went up to 615, 620. It dropped back down to 5 whatever. I knew I made a good bet. I just kept buying more. I wake up this morning, if you look at MicroStrategy, it's at $735. I've made about 30% on my money because I trusted he's a long-term winner. So again, this isn't a rant about me. It's more about you, the bettor. What's your goal? If your goal is to win long-term, then you got to be honest with yourself and approach it that way. If it's to try to find the hot hand, then I wish you the best of luck, because there's so few winning bettors that are actually sharing their information out there. With all that said, hopefully we continue winning. I got some gold for you, so since you stuck around, we'll get to that after we give some picks out. In multiple sports, I have some good stuff for you.
All right, I just wanted to update our record so far on Bet On It, college football and NFL. I am 7-4 on the season. VR is 19-18. Marco 22-15-1. That makes us 48-37-1. So I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us each and every week. We're going to take a little dive into Monday Night Football. Marco, I'm going to go to you first. Ravens, there are some 7.5 still out there, mostly 7s across the board. For the Colts, 46.5 here is the total. And look, I teased this at 7.5 earlier in the week. This is not a Colts team I really want to back here. They're allergic to the red zone, except for when they play teams like the Miami Dolphins without Tua. This is a Baltimore Ravens defense that has really started to come into form as of late. Have they walked in a few games? Absolutely. I don't know if this is going to be one of them, so I'm not going to try to guess. I'm just going to take the Ravens -1.5 and hope that this is just a game that's on for background noise while I get the rest of my work done for the week.
Oh, Kelly, I can't disagree with your, selection on the teaser there, and it's going to be a very popular teaser. And when we get to VR, I'd be curious to see what the sharps have and what the accounts have. But I can tell you, I know what the book's liability is going to be. It's going to be money line parlay on the Ravens, teasers on the Ravens, and they're going to get action on the Ravens, as we've seen this game go back and forth between 7.5 and 7. When it gets to 7.5, because the public pushes it there, we get some buyback from, I would consider, some sharp markets grabbing the 7.5. I'm going to go with Indianapolis here, and I know that's not going to be a popular side in this game because this is a team that's got one win, and that one win was against Miami. But I look at it, and I hate to say it early in a season, this really is almost a must-win game for the Colts. They're already 2 games behind Tennessee. If they lose tonight, it's actually going to be 3 games because they already lost to Tennessee. They're 2 games behind them in the win column right now. If they win this game, they'll stay a game behind them. And I think they need it more. Baltimore's got a little bit of cushion because Cleveland lost yesterday. If Baltimore loses this game, they fall into a tie with Cleveland in the division. So they got a little bit of margin of error. But let's look at Baltimore. And really, who have they beaten? We look at their schedule, and they've had the Raiders in Denver. Those are 2 wins that they had. Those were probably 2 of the most counterfeit 3-0 teams to start the season. We saw the Raiders come back and lose back-to-back weeks, and we've seen the Denver team, after starting 3-0 against 0-9 teams, what they've done. They've lost 2 weeks in a row. And in that game that Baltimore beat them, don't forget, Teddy Bridgewater got knocked out in the second quarter in that game. Also, they beat Kansas City. That's their claim to fame. Well, I hate to be blunt right now, but the Kansas City defense, they can't stop a fart right now, okay? Everything's getting by them. I'm not sold on that win at this point. Yeah, Indianapolis has not played well, but they played the Rams scrappy. The Rams are a good football team. Seattle, we don't know what kind of team they really are. That score was a little bit misleading when they lost by 12 to them. If you remember, that was the first game of the season and also the first game behind center in this new offense for Carson Wentz. He missed the entire preseason. Then they did lose their division rival, Tennessee. This is a game they need. I think they can stay in this game. I think this game comes down to a field goal. If it does come down to a field goal, there's no question who has the better field goal kicker, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. I do want to throw a stat out there because a lot of people, talking heads, are going to point out, well, this is Indianapolis's third straight road game. Yes, it is. And that's one of those betting urban myths that we always talked about, that, oh, teams that play their third straight road game, that's a bad situation for them. Well, I went and checked with Stat Daddy this morning and asked him to run the numbers. And since 2016, there has been 27 teams that have played 3 straight road games. Their record in that game, the third straight road game, 13 wins, 14 losses. Not really an edge either way. So I'm going to go ahead and take Indianapolis plus the points tonight. I'm going to look for a tight game. I will tell you this much. If your book currently does not have a 7.5, wait till game time. Sometime it's going to pop back to 7.5. If you're sitting there at 7, don't worry. It's never going to 6.5. You're not going to miss that.
Marco, you are correct. I got the WagerTalk odds screen open right now, and that's really the only way that we can see this. If you like the Colts, just hang tight. There's really no reason to rush on there and bet them because most places are either 7 minus 115 or even worse. There's quite a few 7.5s. VR, I'd like to touch on what Marco asked you to in regards to my teaser. Now, I did have the teaser with the Bills. I did have the teaser with the Vikings. So I'm pretty much locked and loaded with this Ravens team. Would you recommend anybody at home with this total of being 46.5 to put the Ravens in either an open teaser or maybe find a spot with the Ravens for next week?
Yeah, 100%. And those of you out there that have been teasering it alongside me, it's been a big moneymaker this season. Again, I'm a volume guy, but there's only so much I can send out to my subscribers. And yesterday, there were 8 Wong teaser teams. I'm not going to send out 24 different combinations, even though there were that many opportunities to find plus EV spots, and then some if you mix them all up. Believe it. With all that said, it killed it once again. Throughout this entire season, that's been able to make me a ton of money through those accounts that give me those 6-point teasers. And I'll admit it, I've even laid up to minus 120. I have a couple that give me minus 110. I don't have any that give me even money anymore. But I've even laid up to minus 120 this season because it has been that profitable. The only team that lost yesterday on the Wong was the Washington Redskins. Everybody else nailed it. Now, Dallas and Buffalo, they were in and out of the Wong teaser, depending where, Penny was at 7.5 with Dallas. So at that point, it fell under it, just like Buffalo. When they were at 2.5, it fell under it. There was a ton of teams. So obviously, 100%, if you're teasing this season and you're using the Wong teaser like I am, every opportunity, I'm doing it now that it's at 7.5 blindly. I've been using it in spots where I know points are expected to be at a premium. Doesn't mean it's a lock, but the best I have is what the market tells me. And at 46 compared to a 55, points are much more at a premium, even if they score 70 in this game. What I have to go by is what the number tells me. With all that said, now let's break down the game. Bottom line, obviously, Baltimore's the better team. Overall, power rating-wise, I have them on a neutral field about 6 points better. Add that home field advantage, I could see now why it went through the 7 with Baltimore having such a strong home field advantage. They're better on the offensive side of the ball. They're better on the defensive side of the ball. And obviously, they have a strong home field advantage there in Baltimore. They're healthy right now. They don't have any problems except for their left tackle. And they do have a problem there because even that backup is questionable. So that's the one thing they're going to have to deal with. But again, Baltimore offensive line heavy, they should be just fine. It's the Indianapolis side where defensively, they got a couple players out and even questionable in that secondary. So keep a lookout for all of that, because again, Baltimore's offense is going to be able to score on you if you're 100%. If you're not 100%, they're going to have an even easier time. Baltimore's that one team that I think is a little undervalued. I agree with everything Marco said. We don't know yet how good they are. They passed the test, which was Kansas City, because me, you, and everyone involved had them as an underdog. Whether we bet Baltimore that day is irrelevant. The bottom line is they closed as a 3.5-point home dog to Kansas City. And they passed that test. That's what we do have to go by. But like he said, the other teams, we don't know. But they did take care of business on the road. Here's why I bring that up. Because based on, I like to make a futures play once I have enough data to where again, we know the hold's real high in those markets. But I like to have some action. There's a little gamble in me. I don't do this by accident. And I like to find a ticket that's a little long shotty. And I think Baltimore's that one team that I think a future is valid, meaning in the AFC, there's not too many teams you're going to make favored right now over Baltimore. In fact, in all of the NFL, who are you going to make favored over Baltimore? Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Buffalo, New Orleans? Like, who are you going to make, and by how many points? Again, not many teams are favored over Baltimore, and they're a 10-1 dog. I mean, 10-1 to win the Super Bowl right now. I think 10 or 11-1. To me, that screams of value. They're a team that's undervalued in the market as far as futures go, because again, everyone's excited about Buffalo. Everyone's still waiting for Kansas City to turn it on. And there's still Tampa Bay on the other side of the coin that we have to deal with, and all those teams in the NFC. So again, I like the future side on Baltimore. I love the Baltimore side on a teaser tonight. I haven't released anything. None of the groups I work with have bet this, except in a couple pending teasers on the Baltimore side, and I agree with that. So here, let me give you some other stuff. I gave out a premium already. And again, guys, I don't know. The only way I know that you want me to do this is if you smash that like button and comment. That's why I don't tweet stuff out, because when I tweet a play out or whatever, there's no action. So I figure, why am I going to pull over, waste my time, give up 10 minutes if you don't even have 3 seconds to say, okay, I do appreciate that. If you don't appreciate it, then no problem. But again, if you guys want us to keep putting stuff out, let us know. So in college football, I released premium 107 Appalachian State, gave them out at -4.5. I think they're 5 now. I think they're good. You're fine there. Just don't wait till it gets to 6. Started getting bet at 3, 4, 4.5 and upwards. Another bet tomorrow in hockey over Seattle, Las Vegas, over 5.5, got +120 on that. Nice little dog there on the over. Nothing really to share on baseball. Yeah, and then these, again, not confirmed gold, but steam. Haven't dug in to conclude if I'm betting it or what have you. But here's some other college football. They bet 143, Nebraska -2.5, 126, North Carolina -6.5. You find something familiar, before a 3, before a 7 in the NFL, 251, Miami -3, 268, Cleveland -2.5. Again, no surprise around those key numbers. NBA tonight, 565, Sac -6.5, 560, Miami -7.5. But the bigger NBA bet, the only one I actually piggybacked, was the Utah Jazz at up to -7.5. So that's pretty much what I have. And then I do have contender, but that's for tomorrow. So you know where to follow that.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Thank you to VR and Marco. Before we end, I just want to let you guys know, Marco, #1 football handicapper 2021
Crushing it,
with
bro.
a record.
Congratulations, man. Stay hot, Marco. Stay hot. Crush it. You're seeing
Marco
it
has been very hot.
perfectly.
Even with last weekend's blunders against the both of us, 54-31, he's up over 73 units on the season. You get all Marco's plays through the Super Bowl, $549, and you get all Marco's baseball through the World Series for free. This offer's coming off tonight, though, before kickoff. VR, it is $9 Monday. Do you have anything up on $9 Monday?
No, I just gave everything away. Yeah, they just saved their money. I just gave it all away. Whatever would have been out there, I just saved you guys money. whether you follow or fade, because again, I'm sure a lot of people are convinced this guy couldn't win if he had tomorrow's newspaper. So again, maybe you want to buy it to fade it, and if you get rich, God bless you. But you got to get on Bitcoin because it's going to be too late. Don't think it's too expensive now. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, you're going to be like, damn, that dude was right.
Yep, Bitcoin is where it's at. I appreciate VR pushing me towards that last summer. Life is pretty good over on the Coinbase app. Thank you to Marco and VR. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Until then, let's bet on it.
Football is back, and Gianni the Greek is looking to repeat his legendary